Hi, this is Rob Grimes with the IFPTA, and today I'm really pleased to introduce our membership and our audience to Rachel Nemeth, who is the CEO and co-founder of Opus, and they are an industry supporter member of the IFPTA. So welcome, Rachel.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Are there any other future things? So we got the AI, we got, sort of the robotics tools, the delivery, are there any other things that you would add?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only other piece that continues to be missing that I'm bullish on is multilingual tools and multilingual software. I continue to see opportunities for businesses to invest in software that is accessible to 100% of your team.
Right.
And and I don't just mean Spanish. If you look at the demographics, if you look at the migration patterns, Amharic, which is the native language of Ethiopia, is coming. Ukrainian is. There are different languages that are entering our workforce we need to be prepared for in order to ensure that everyone feels included and that this software is accessible to everyone. So I think that there's a lot of very cool opportunities for translation technology that can really change the way that people live and work and eat.
Right, and I can tell you, having come back from CES last week, that there are a number of translation tools. 37 seems to be the magic number. 37 countries. Some will do 100, whatever.
Interesting.
But at least 37. I should go look and see what that correlation is. If
I
there's
bet it's
some reason why
romantic languages. Yeah.
Well, it could be, or it could be because certain translation tools that came from, the back end, were in those 37 first. I'm not sure, because you'd have to tie them to the demographics and the number of places. Then I would tie them to, where do the major hospitality retail companies go, or where does the workforce come from? But at least those tools on the back end are becoming available, that you can then incorporate in what you're doing. So, before we conclude, I was going to ask you, and I am going to ask you why you joined the IFPTA, but don't answer that yet. You will get to answer that, but don't answer that yet. So I have always been a believer that sometimes the best way to show and demonstrate something is experiential, training or tools or things that people can really use. And you did that for the IFPTA. And you were already working in the industry, and you were working with our partner CHART, which is the Council on Hotel and Restaurant Trainers. But we had what I would call a very long and drawn out certification program that would take, 6 hours if you tried to do it, all at once, if you could possibly do it, a lot of tests. And it was delivered, online on video on a PC. And you were able, I should point out, in a matter of probably a week, you took those and transitioned them into smaller bites, which is now delivered in 3 courses, and each module, the modules were still, 3 or 4 minutes with testing. And we have now taken that to, I guess, a half dozen places as the IFPTA. And the thought occurred to me, and that's worked out very well. People seem to be preferring that over our traditional tools, and we'll move that way going forward. But I can also say to you, I want to go back to that little industry of choice. It may not just be what our employers face when the person has taken the job, but since we're sourcing new people, the ability for you to generate general education like you're doing for us, but on a broader scale, helps prepare somebody, including in hospitality schools or vocational schools, for the jobs, to make us an industry of choice, to help educate them that it's a good thing. And I don't know if you have any thought on that, but we're appreciative of what you're doing, but we're using it real life in this. But I don't know if you have any additional thoughts, of industry of choice, or, it's not just about the customers, but it's about also, we see it the same way.
Yeah. First off, it's been a total pleasure partnering with IFPTA in this capacity. I think we're values aligned, and we think about great software that can help increase learning outcomes in the same way. And so it's been really amazing to see the software adjust to those specific needs. I mean, you had a big problem to solve, and being able to address that. I think it's only been in this past 6 months at 6 different conferences. Support the Tech Camp has been really amazing to see. And so I'm excited about what's next. As far as what we can do outside of food service, we're already in dining halls in universities. We're expanding beyond. So we're in Vanderbilt University.
Well, those are food service, okay, but outside of
Yeah.
restaurants, but that's food.
No, but think about it. We're training the university students who are serving the food to other university students, right?
Right.
So this is actually about getting skills, real life skills to individuals who don't ordinarily have those skills. In addition to that, though, I mean, you and I can have a beer one day and talk about how I feel about culinary schools. I think they're dying out, but we do want to be thinking about how we can prepare people for the workforce.
They may be dying out in the traditional method. I think what you're showing is the way to deliver those skills in the non-traditional method.
Right.
When people could not go to a school for 2 years, but they had to learn at home. If you start thinking that the culinary school may be in your home kitchen, and how do you deliver that? It doesn't mean that there still isn't a culinary education. It just means that how the person gets that education has changed.
Yeah. Well, and I would say to that, something that we say internally a lot at Opus, which is that training starts at day 0. It doesn't start at day 1. And so what can you do to actually prepare somebody before they even step foot on the floor?
Absolutely.
That could be proactive, which is I hired you, start now. Or it could be the more broad thinking, which is what you're speaking about, which is we're interacting with people, young people every day who are getting prepared to enter the workforce. What can we do in vocational schools and high schools to help get them ready for what's next? Especially just looking at how education is changing in general. So I'm really excited to see what happens with Opus outside of kind of our immediate focus in order to support the entire food and ecosystem, but by extension, the entire
Well, certainly you have the hospitality. So you have the food service industry extended in the hospitality industry and its extensions into retail, healthcare, any of the service industries for sure, because they face the same problems. But over time, you have the whole education industry itself and how they teach students. And we just know that students spend all their time on their mobile devices. And if you can deliver anything that way, the laptop will disappear in a class, over that. So it's there. So look, we greatly appreciate what you're doing for the IFBTA and our tech camps and certification. I know we're going to do some new rounds, and it's been a good delivery tool for us. So we are experiencing ourselves as a customer, so to speak, and a user of it. And we appreciate the support of you joining the IFBTA, and you've already sort of said why, but we do think the same way as to where things transition. So I just want to thank Rachel Nemeth, again, the CEO and co-founder of Opus and one of the industry supporters of the IFBTA, and really appreciate both the support and what you're doing in the industry to help people move forward.
Thank you so much, Rob. It's been a pleasure, and we're just enormous fans of what you're building at IFBTA. It's been incredible to be a part of this community and excited about what the future holds.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.